All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they work in your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Easy Money, a sports betting show, Thursday, October 19th, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez. How's it going?
Oh, not too bad. Hanging in there. Terrible on my picks last night, though. 0-3. Didn't get much worse.
I had a pretty good day. I went 4-1. Only game I missed was the baseball game. I was 2-0 in college football and 2-0 in hockey. I had the Rangers beating the Astros, and that didn't happen last night.
Well, the Astros jumped on them. What they needed to do. Texas tried to come back, but didn't have enough.
Got pretty good slate today. Got two baseball games tonight, as both series play today. I think one actually starts here in about an hour, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think it's 5:07 or something like that.
And then you have the Phillies and Phillies and Diamondbacks are the ones at 5, and then tonight you have Astros and Rangers.
You got football tonight.
Kind of weird that you have a playoff game, a home playoff game in Arizona starting at 2:00 in the afternoon. Maybe that's why tickets were $6 a piece.
Yeah,
Or that you could get tickets that cheap. Why would you have a game that early in the day?
yeah.
I don't know. To me, that just don't make a whole lot of sense.
Looks like the Houston game would have been the early game, you know.
Yeah, play the Houston game at 5 or 6 at least. I mean,
Yeah.
that's still a little early, but it's better than at 2:00 in the afternoon for people that are at work.
Yeah.
You also got big Thursday night game tonight, and pretty good slate of hockey games tonight.
A lot of hockey
compared
games.
to what there was.
Got some couple college football games too. Yeah, a lot of hockey games tonight. Yeah, I'm trying to decide what I'm gonna watch because baseball, football, and Vegas all at the same time. All three.
Yeah, I'll probably watch the football game.
I think I'm going to too. At least start off that way.
All right, let me get this pulled up here.
See, Big Glenn's on there.
Yeah, how's it going, Glenn? Yeah, so I was 4-1 yesterday. That puts me at 543 and 414 on the year. So been doing pretty good there. All right. Well, where you want to start at today?
Well, I don't know. What did you think about the Astros Texas game last night? I mean, Astros did what they needed to do. Do you think it was a smart decision to start Texas, start that pitcher? I mean,
I do because I think he could be. I think he's going to be big for him later on. If they win this series, I think he could be big for him later in this series or in the World Series. and you had the excuse me, you had the 2-0 advantage. Don't get me wrong, you never want to lose a game, but if you had a chance, I mean, if there was ever a chance to get him in there and get him some work so he can get back in the swing of things and get that first start out of the way, I think it kind of set up perfect to do it last night because you won the first 2 games on the road. So if you were going to bring him back, I think last night was the night to do it. Rather than if it was a series is tied 2-2 or a 1-1, I think having that 2-game lead made that decision a little bit easier to go ahead and start him. And I think you'll see the next time he pitches, he'll probably look a little bit sharper. I mean, you just never know when a guy's coming back after being laid off that long, how sharp he's going to be. You can do all the bullpen sessions you want, do it and all that stuff, but it's not the same as being out there in front of a crowd, let alone a playoff game. And I know Scherzer has a lot of experience and everything, but still, it takes some time to come back from injury sometimes. So, yeah, I kind of think it was a smart move just because, especially when you don't have your other top pitcher Degrom who's been out. So I mean, if you can get a guy like Scherzer back, that could really help you, especially if you do make if you keep advancing, you make the World Series, or even if the Astros is to come back and tie this series up and this series gets deep. I mean, I think you'd feel more comfortable putting Scherzer out there in a game 6 or a game 7.
Yeah.
Since he was out there and got to throw some and not being his first start back.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I don't disagree. Do you think Arizona can get a game the way can they win a game? I know they're going to be at home, but Philadelphia, man.
I don't know. I don't think. Well, we'll go ahead. We'll start there since that game starts here in an hour. But yeah, I'm going to take the Phillies tonight as well. If the Diamondbacks lose tonight, I doubt they win a game in this series. They need this game tonight.
Who's Arizona got going there?
Yeah, let me get that pulled up here real quick. But Phillies lead 2-0, and they won. Of course, they won both games at home. Now they're on the road. Phillies are 1.5 run favorites, minus 126 on the money line. Diamondbacks are plus 108 on the money line. Over unders at 9 runs. On the mound for the Phillies is going to be Suarez. He is 1-0 with a 1.04 ERA in the playoffs. On the season, he was 4-6 with a 4.18 ERA. On the mound for the Diamondbacks is going to be Pleat. I think that is how you pronounce it. But he's 0-0 with a 3.86 ERA in the playoffs. He was 3-9 with a 5.72 ERA during the regular season. Phillies were 41-40 on the road. Diamondbacks are 43-38 at home. The Phillies do lead the season series against the Diamondbacks 6-3. And that's including a couple playoff games. So they basically split during the regular season, but then the Phillies won both playoff games. I like the Phillies here. I think they have the better pitcher on the mound, and the Phillies offense has just they've been on fire. They've been really hitting the ball. And the Diamondbacks in the first 2 games haven't been able to get a whole lot of offense going. They did get a little offense going late in game 2, but wasn't enough to get all the way back in the game. But I like the Phillies tonight. I still think, even being at home, I think the Diamondbacks need to get out to an early lead. Try to get some of that pressure off them and get try to put a little pressure on the Phillies, because right now there's really no pressure on the Phillies. All the pressure has been on the Diamondbacks this series so far, and the Diamondbacks need to try to reverse that.
Yeah, Arizona's got to get guys on base. I mean, they were really good at stealing bases and stuff, and they've had trouble getting guys on base to be able to even do that, and then they've got so far behind too. So I mean, I agree with you. They've got to get a lead, even if it's a 1-0 lead. They got to change the way things are going in that way. Get a couple run lead, something, and get a little confidence back. And I agree with you. If they don't win this game tonight, I think it's going to be 0-4.
Then the other Major League Baseball game tonight, American League Championship Series, Astros Rangers. Rangers are excuse me. Rangers are up 2-1 in this series. The Astros are 1.5 run favorites on the road tonight, minus 106 on the money line. The Rangers are minus 110 on the money line. So Rangers are barely favored on the money line. Astros are favored on the run line, almost to pick them. Over-unders at 9.5 runs. On the mound for the Astros is going to be Urquidy. He's 1-0 with a 3.18 ERA. On the mound for the Rangers is going to be Haney. He's 0-0 with a 2.45 ERA, and that's in the playoffs. If you look at these teams' numbers over the last 10 games, their numbers are almost identical. The Astros are hitting 241 over the last 10 games with a 250 team ERA, and the Rangers are hitting 241 over the last 10 games with a 2.53 ERA. So, if you look at their numbers, they've been almost identical over the last 10 games. I like the Rangers here at home. I know the Rangers beat the Astros on the road both games. I don't see the Rangers winning or Rangers losing back-to-back games at home. I think I like the Rangers here. The Astros had a different starter on the mound tonight. I might lean toward the Astros a little bit, but I'm going with the Rangers here on the money line to take a commanding 3-1 lead in the series.
Astros scare me. They've got a lot of experience, but I'm gonna go with the Rangers. I'm going to go with the Rangers, but the Astros do kind of scare me. They've got a lot of experience, and they've been in these situations many times before. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Astros do win, but I'm going to go with Texas though. Money line.
All right. Then we got NFL.
Yeah, what do you do with this pick? Because we don't know if Jacksonville's quarterback is going to start or not. I think it's going to be a game time decision. That makes it kind of tough.
You got the Jaguars at the Saints. Well, the line changed a little bit. The Saints are 1.5 point favorites, minus 134 on the money line. Jaguars are plus 114 on the money line. Over-unders at 40.5. Right now, from what I hear, it sounds like Lawrence is going to play. I mean, it sounds like he's going to play from everything I've been hearing. They're going to work him out before the game, and if that goes well, he's going to play. But I know Doug Peterson said that he expects that Lawrence is going to play tonight. And this is a weird game because the Saints defense is good. They only give up like 16 points a game. The Jaguars defense isn't terrible. They're pretty good against the run, but they can struggle against the pass. Offensively, the Saints can struggle to score points on offense. Jaguars have been a little up and down on offense, and then not if they don't have Trevor Lawrence. I don't see their offense moving the ball a whole lot.
I don't either. Is Carr playing?
And Carr is playing, but the Saints are missing both their starting offensive tackles as well. So that kind of worries me against that Jacksonville pass rush. We saw what I think it was Josh Allen from the Jaguars, what he could do last week against the Colts when he just disrupted that game. Well, Stevie says Astros tonight.
Yeah, could be.
So this is a tough one, not knowing who's going to play. The Saints were -2 favorite earlier. It's went to 1.5. So I would say that the books are leaning toward that Trevor Lawrence is going to play. But it's hard to play there in New Orleans. I'm gonna go with the Saints because of their defense, and with that injury to Lawrence, even if he does start,
it's a knee injury too.
Even if he does start, who knows if he's going to be able to finish the game?
Yep.
So I'm gonna go with the Saints, and I like the under, in that game, which if I remember it was 40.5, because especially if Lawrence ends up not playing, and then the Saints, like I said, only score about 16 points a game.
Yep.
I think the Jaguars are averaging about 23, 22 points a game. So I mean, if these two teams just hit their averages, it'll be pretty close to that under. So I'm gonna go with I think it's gonna be more of a defensive battle tonight. So I'm gonna go with Saints -2, or actually it'd be -1.5. So hell,
I was going to go Saints money line.
yeah, but you get if you're betting, you get better odds.
Okay,
You get better
okay.
odds at the -1.5.
No, I'll take minus one. I'll do -1.5 then.
You get -1.5 at -115 juice. Money line's -132. So you get a little bit better. You get a little better payoff. You go to -1.5, which is basically almost the same as going money line, because how many games?
Yeah.
Or you going? You know, what I mean, the game usually don't end by 1 point.
Yeah, not very often.
Let's see real quick. Stevie says Astros, Phillies, and Jags. He said Lawrence out. Did they just announce that Lawrence was out? I know earlier they said he was going to be
game time
decision. They were going to he was going to do a pregame workout, and they were going to that. But I mean, things could change. I haven't seen a report on that yet. But yeah, if Lawrence is out, I would definitely favor the Saints. But I think that, like I said, it just worries me that knee, because we saw how hobbled he looked against the Colts there at the end of that game.
Yeah.
Being a short week, being a Thursday night.
Yeah, I think if it had been Sunday, I'd have been more confident.
Being Thursday night, even if he does play, is he going to be able to finish the game if he takes a big hit? So it'll be interesting there. But yeah, I like the Saints at the -1.5, and I like the under the 40.5, because like I said, I think it's going to be more of a defensive battle. It does worry me a little bit that the Saints are missing some offensive linemen. Jags are missing, I think, maybe one offensive lineman, and then of course Trevor Lawrence is questionable. Hey, how's it going, Billy? But all right, so then you have, and
here's something I just seen, Chris. Jacksonville has never won in the Superdome.
yeah, Superdome's a hard place to play. Did who'd you have on the NFL?
I'm going with the Saints because of the injury. I think, yeah.
And then in college football tonight, you got a couple games. I was 2-0 in college football. I was 4-1 yesterday on my picks. If you're just joining this, I was 2-0 in college football last night. Only game I missed last night was the baseball game. I was also 2-0 in hockey last night. My picks are 543 and 414 on the year. In college football tonight, you got two games. You have Rice at Tulsa. Tulsa's a 3.5-point favorite. They're -176 on the money line. Rice is +146 on the money line. Over-under is at 57.5. Tulsa, Rice has the better off. I think it has the better offense in this game. Tulsa, I think's defense is maybe a little bit better. I'm gonna go with the underdog Rice here at the +3.5. I think Rice's offense is going to be able to score enough points, and their defense is going to be able to do enough to slow Tulsa's offense down. So I'm going to go Rice at the +3.5. And then other college football game. Well, real quick before we go there, I like Etienne under 64.5 rushing yards. Yeah, I do like that, Stevie, because of the Saints. The defense is hard to run the ball against. So I like that. The only thing that could work against on that is if Lawrence don't play, they're probably going to try to hand the ball off at the end a bunch, because I think it's Bethard, however you pronounce his name, is their backup, and he's made 12 starts in the NFL, and he's 2-10 as a starter. So if if Lawrence don't play, and one other thing that kind of makes me think that even if Lawrence plays, they don't know if he can finish. They brought a third quarterback up, activated him to the main roster for tonight's game.
Yeah.
So that shows you that they have to have a pretty amount of concern if they're going to take a roster spot to have a third quarterback. Tonight.
Well, they probably did that because they didn't know if it was going to be a game time decision. Didn't know if he was going to play also. But yeah, and like you said, if he does play and he can't finish, you're
down to one quarterback. You can end up being like San Francisco was in the damn playoffs last year with no quarterback out there and trying to run the ball every down. And then the other game in college football, James Madison at Marshall. James Madison's a 3.5-point favorite, minus 188 on the money line. Marshall's plus 155 on the money line. Over-unders at 49.5. James Madison is 6-0 overall, 3-0 in the conference. Marshall is 4-2 overall, 1-1 in the conference. I think it's going to be a good game. Both teams have decent offenses, but James Madison's offense has been putting up a little better numbers, and they have the better defense. I like James Madison here at the minus 3.5. So I'm gonna go with James Madison at the minus 3.5. Hey, how's it going, Colton?
Hey, Colton. We got a show coming up Saturday night, Colton. Kokomo, Indiana, a wrestling show. You can check it out here live on Facebook. Well, not Facebook, excuse me, YouTube.
Billy, we are Marshall.
Yep. I'm going to go.
Hey, that's a good movie.
Great movie.
A real good movie.
I'm going James Madison money line and Rice plus the 3.5. So I'm going.
And then in hockey, which I've been on a roll with hockey. I usually don't give out hockey picks last 2 nights or last 2 days. I've gave out hockey picks, and I know. Let's see, I was 2-0 yesterday, and the day before I was 2-1 in hockey picks I gave out. So been doing pretty good on those. I'm going with tonight in hockey. I'm gonna go with the Maple Leafs on the money line over the Panthers. I'm gonna go with the Minnesota Wild money line over the Kings, and I'm gonna go with the Vegas Golden Knights money line over the Jets. That's gonna be my 3 hockey picks for tonight.
Yeah, my hockey, I'm going LA Kings and the Minnesota Wild over 6 goals. I'm going Vegas money line over Winnipeg Jets, and I'm going the Dallas Stars money line over the Anaheim Ducks. Go Vegas.
Let's see. The Maple Leafs and Panthers. The Maple Leafs are minus 138 on the money line. I'm going with the Maple Leafs. What was the other one? Wild. I can't remember what the money line was. On the Wild, that's a game. Wild and Kings is a pick 'em. Wild at minus 110 on the money line. And then Vegas is minus 115 on the money line against the Jets. That's almost a pick 'em. Yeah. Which kind of surprised me because the Jets' record isn't very good, really. If I remember correctly, I can't remember exactly what their record is.
It's hard early on because they haven't played many games yet, but it's hard to pick them early on.
And I hate to say it, one thing that did worry me about that game is that Vegas hasn't lost a game yet. Nope. So that worries me. That worries me a little bit because you're going to lose one sooner or later. Stevie says Golden Knights. He says Vegas going to run it back.
I hope so. I'm a big Vegas fan. Have been ever since they came into the league. They've got everybody back from last year except for one player. I mean, and they're strong. They're the best 5-on-5 team there is. I mean, they score more goals 5-on-5 than any other team last year and so far this year too. So they're a dangerous team. Hopefully, if everything goes right, I'm gonna go get to see the Golden Knights play in Columbus here in March. If everything works out.
That's pretty much about all the games tonight. You have NBA, but I don't really pay attention to NBA preseason. NBA regular season's hard enough. NBA regular season's hard enough to watch a lot of times, let alone try to keep up with the preseason games. Hell, the players don't. The NBA regular season is almost a preseason anymore because half the players don't play. So I guess it wouldn't be too much of a difference. They bet preseason than regular season, but I pay more attention to NBA after football's over. Be honest. I mean, when they start the regular season games, I'll pay attention to the Pacers, and I'll start giving out some picks. But when I really start paying attention to it is once basically football's over with. Right now it's more baseball and football. But this year's baseball playoffs have not been near as good as the last
couple years,
the last 2 or 3 years.
They haven't been.
I mean, we hadn't really had a close series yet.
No.
I mean, we might end up getting one out of these two, maybe. This Astros and Rangers series couldn't end up. I don't think the Diamondbacks are going to come back and beat the Phillies. I really don't. Don't get me wrong; it could happen, but I don't. Now the Astros, if the Astros win tonight, that's that series basically 0-0 again.
Yeah.
So, and the Astros are a good enough team. They've had the Astros actually have won 10 game or lead the series against the Rangers this season 10 games to 6, and that's including the playoffs and everything. So Astros have played well against the Rangers this season. But I still like the Rangers tonight. But that's the series I think out of these two that could end up maybe going 6-7 games. And then I think the World Series matchup, if it's the Phillies against Astros and Rangers, I think that's going to be a real good series. But we haven't had the wild card was all the wild card games was 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. And then the other series none of them went 5 games. So it's just been.
We had the wild cards last year, and I thought they were pretty good. And then I seen an article written here a couple of days ago saying that the baseball wild card was a big flop. And okay, it's going to happen sometimes. I
don't think it was a big flop because like last year, but I will be honest, I like it better the other way where the wild card was just 1 game instead of going to 2 out of 3 like they have the last couple of years, just because that game was so exciting when it was that just 1 game. If you won, you advanced and was in playoff to the next playoff, or you was out. And it made the game mean a little more. So and it did make for some fun games. So I do miss that. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think this has been a big flop. I think you have to give it more than a couple of years to be able to say that, because we've seen some competitive games.
Yeah.
I just think when you add best 2 out of 3, it takes a little bit of the allure away from that wild card game, because when you have that sudden death wild card game, you see managers manage the game different, and instead of worrying about, oh, I got to get this pitcher out of here because we got a game tomorrow, or this, it's all hands on deck. Everybody's in because you got to win that game or you're done. And I think it makes for a little bit more of an exciting game, because you never. Hell, you might see a starter come in relief, or you see some stuff that you don't see very often because it is that sudden death winner take all game. So I do miss that about the wild card, because I was always a big fan of that sudden death wild card game. And hey, you two. All right, Billy says he likes the Flames, Rangers, Leafs money line, and the Phillies at the -1.5.
Did want to ask you a question. I was watching a sports show earlier today, and they were talking about the Heisman race, and a couple of guys I was watching was really acting like that. I know it's 1 game, and I know Washington beat Oregon and Knicks. That like now that Phoenix is the odds-on favorite to win it.
Well, by the sports books, he is.
Heavy favorite?
Well, I was getting ready to look it up right now, because I can't remember, but he is. I knew they do have him as the.
Don't get me wrong. He looked very good that game. I'm not taking anything away from him, but and I agree that I think Williams was probably USC was the favorite at one point, but he looked very bad against Notre Dame.
And some of the comments and stuff that's coming out about him.
Oh, yes.
Some of that stuff can hurt. I'm not saying it should, but some of that stuff can really hurt you.
I looked on there. I didn't see where Lawrence was out, but everybody is saying he's out. I just checked the Jacksonville sites, and I didn't see where.
Huh. Okay. I went with the Saints at the -1.5. From what I was hearing just a few minutes ago, was that Lawrence was going to be a game time decision. That he was. Doug Peterson said he's expecting that he was going to play. But if Lawrence is out, I definitely really like the Saints even more. But I think the Saints. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I like the under in the game, which is 40.5, and I think this game is going to be a pretty defensive game.
See, I've just looked up Trevor Lawrence, and I'm not seeing anything.
But Caleb Williams has fell back to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's tied for eighth. He's tied for the eighth best odds to win the Heisman. Caleb Williams is now.
Because of one real bad game.
You got Michael Penix Jr. is at minus 125 to win the Heisman. Dylan Gabriel is plus 800. J.J. McCarthy, quarterback from Michigan, is plus 1,200. Jaden Daniels plus 1,200. Jordan Travis plus 1,500. Drake May plus 1,600. Carson Beck plus 2,500. Then you have Bo Nix and Caleb Williams plus 3,000.
Because Nick's lost a game. Nick's played pretty well that game.
Then the Alabama quarterback, Jalen Milroe, is at plus 5,000. You have Quinn Ewers from Texas at plus 5,000. McCord's at plus 5,000. But yeah, this is on FanDuel. Okay, then I have the. I like the Philly. I like the Phillies on the money line. You put the Twins. Are you meaning the Astros or the Rangers? But yeah, I like the Phillies tonight on the money line a lot, and I'm going with the Rangers on the money line. I think the Rangers are going to bounce back. I don't think they're going to win or lose 2 games in a row at home. And yeah. Oh, no problem, Hippie. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, that's the 2 game. That was the 2 picks I gave out, which I'll go over all my picks here in just a second. It looks like Stevie put in a parlay. Saints, Phillies, Astros, Golden Knights. And you get plus 1042 odds.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like that other than the Astros. But that game's going. I think that's going to be a good. I think that's going to be a good game because the Astros are a good team. They are a good team.
They've been there, man.
And they were able to get a big win last night after losing 2 on the road. So I just don't see the Rangers losing 2. And like I said, if there was a different pitcher on the mound than your Urquidy for the Astros, I would have picked the Astros. But I'm going with the Rangers on that one. Billy says throw $10 on Knicks. For the Heisman.
Yeah, because okay, let's say Washington. They still got to play some decent teams. If they lose a game or 2, it's tough because there are some good quarterbacks this year, pretty solid quarterbacks.
Out of just watching them play right now, I would favor Penix, just because he's so accurate.
I don't disagree, but I think it's pretty slight though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a big margin, but I would favor Penix, and I think McCarthy from Michigan gets overlooked a little bit. I'm not saying he's at those guys' level, but I do think he's a little underrated. I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman, but I think he's underrated for what he does.
Eventually, could be a nice pick. That might go in the 2nd or 3rd round in the NFL
but,
later.
Well, scares me. There's a few things that scare me about Caleb Williams.
Right now, his attitude.
Well, that's one, but the look I saw on his face during that Notre Dame game, he was shook
early on.
He was shook real early. He had 3 interceptions in the first half. But he was shook from the get go in that game. Notre Dame came out physical, and he looked like he didn't know what to do. And I'm not going to hold that all the way against him because he's a good quarterback. I think he has a lot of talent. But man, if you look at a guy's eyes like that and you see that they're rattled like that, it worries me, especially trying to go up to the next level. And then you hear these demands that he's trying to make, that anybody, whatever team drafts him, he wants part ownership. Or he's not going to go there, and he only wants to go to certain teams. And
you get with these agents and stuff, and people get in your ear. Unfortunately, maybe parents, maybe friends, maybe whatever. Like I said, agents. The dude last year was impressive. He showed a lot of heart. Dude was impressive by far. To me, I thought he was the best quarterback coming into this year, and that's it's changing for me definitely. I think they get their second loss this week against Utah. Utah beat them twice last year.
Billy Williams odds are the same as Bo Nix. Are both plus 3,000.
I think Williams is going to have a hard time getting back up here because, like I said, I think they're going to lose to Utah. They get a couple losses on that team.
That defense is
too much to.
Yeah, that USC defense is just terrible.
It is, but his offensive line didn't look very good against Notre Dame.
Against Notre Dame, no. I mean, that defense is terrible.
Oh yeah, it's not been very good. I mean, Notre Dame's offense has not been no juggernaut.
And I think that's what I think that's what could end up hurting Washington is their defense, because if you slow down that offense, what's going to happen if they can't score 30? 30 points. It's hard to win every game when you have to score 30 plus.
And I don't recall the receiver's name for Washington, but he's outstanding.
They got 3 good ones.
Yeah,
they got 3 receivers that's averaging over 100 yards a game.
That one in particular.
Yeah,
oh man. If the Colts can't get the Ohio State quarterback Harrison Jr., I'm
glad you did mention that. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be on the Pat McAfee show tomorrow.
Cool.
Live at Ohio State.
Good. I have to try to watch that then.
Who else did he say? Ryan Day, Ohio State's coach, is going to be on there. Marvin Harrison Jr.
He mentioned somebody else, but I can't remember who it was now.
I know AQ Shipley is going to be on there because he is a Penn State alum, and of course Bob Carpenter, who gives out his college football poll. He is an Ohio State alum. He's going to be on there. AJ Hawk, but I know they were trying to get the guy from Rascal Flats to be on there, but it didn't. I guess it didn't work out with scheduling.
Okay. One thing I wanted to bring up, I heard something last night. I think this is really cool. Billy Ray was on Busted Open last night, and he is doing a Monday night, the 30th of October in New Jersey. He's going to be at a bar, free to get in. He'll have free 8x10s he's going to sign. He's going to have free autographs for everybody. He's going to do a Q&A, but he wants people to dress up as their favorite pro wrestler, and he will pick the winner, and that winner will get 2 free tickets to WrestleMania. He said he didn't know which night yet, one night, and they will most likely be sitting with him.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And he's doing it all out of his own pocket. He said, I'm going to do a Q&A. He said, everybody come out. He said, I'll spend as much time as I can with anybody and everybody. He said, I'm not going to be excluded from, over here, and he said, I'm going to be out there with everybody. I thought that was really cool. I mean, of him to do something like that. And he's doing it all out of his own, which I'm sure it's not. He said, they're not front row tickets, but they're going to be good tickets. They'll be good seats.
It's good marketing.
Yeah.
Real good marketing.
Yeah. And he's not doing it for Busted Open. He's just doing it on his own. But he did announce it on Busted Open, of course.
Well, aren't him and Devon getting ready to start doing some independent stuff?
Yeah.
That's a good way to market, get your name out, help get your name out there some more.
Glenn said he needs to fly out. Yeah, Glenn, the way you are a winner. Who would you dress up as, Glenn? What would be a good costume? What pro wrestler? I don't know who. It'd be hard to come up with one. To be able to, because there's going to be some people go all out, man, for WrestleMania tickets.
Oh yeah.
Other thing, I did want to get your opinion. Also, maybe Glenn's. What do you think about them announcing that their NWA is going to be on the CW note? And I didn't know this. CW also, I guess, maybe Glenn knows this. I guess they're getting some NASCAR races too.
Well, I knew they were trying to get more sports.
Yeah, so they're shifting their things, but I think that's pretty interesting. I mean,
well, that's right now. That's what gets the best ratings on television is live events.
Yep.
And I know that NWA is probably going to still be recorded.
I would say so.
But getting races, getting live events like that and stuff, that really helps the rating.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Glenn says he loves it and says Xfinity Series races, which is okay. So yeah.
And the big key with CW is that a lot of local channels carry CW, so you don't even have to have cable to get it. I think that's a big advantage that they're going to have. And everybody talked about the number 1 and number 2, AEW number 2. There's a big margin between number 1 and number 2, but I don't know if there's going to be a big margin because that puts NWA to number 3 and knocking on the door number 2.
Do you think NWA would ever change to where they did a live show?
I think they will do. I bet you they will do some live shows. I don't think they'll start off live shows. And I think that's something they'll have to build up to. And I think you may see them do 3 or 4 specials a year live or something like that. But I don't think they could right away. Too expensive.
Billy said Glenn could pass for the Greg the Hammer Valentine. All right. Don't forget this Saturday night we'll be live right around 7:00. I think the show's supposed to start at 7:05, so might be. I know you know how wrestling shows are. Sometimes they start on time. Sometimes they start a few minutes late. So somewhere right around 7:15 we'll be live with the AACW Eternal Excellence Rumble. Should be a great show. We had the AACW heavyweight champion Christian Cash on yesterday. If you missed that interview, go check it out. Also, the owner of AACW, Shane Calsert, jumped on there toward the end of the stream and talked a little bit as well. So join us for that. Also, on our Facebook page, go check out. A lot of the wrestlers made some promos. I've been putting those. I think there's 7 or 8 of them up on our page right now, talking about this weekend show. So go check that out as well. If you missed Gonzo and the Judge on Tuesday night, go check out that show. I thought that was a pretty good show.
You guys got a show tonight?
As far as I know.
As far as you know, you ain't heard from the Judge, huh?
But real quick before we get out of here, yesterday my picks were 4-1 on the year. I'm 543 and 414. Tonight's picks, I like the Phillies on the money line, Rangers money line, the Saints at the -1.5, Rice at +3.5 in college football, James Madison at the -3.5, and then hockey tonight, I like the Maple Leafs money line, Golden Knights money line, and the Minnesota Wild on the money line. But we appreciate everybody watching. Hope everybody enjoys. Got a big slate of sports tonight, so I hope everybody enjoys the sports tonight. We'll be back tomorrow right around 3-4 o'clock with another episode of Easy Money, a sports betting show. Hope everybody has a great night, and we will see you guys tomorrow.